That's called an IBU, IBU. So that's your first how. Body is taken to a tent known as IBU. That's your first step.
So we just write how they.
No, the top of your box says how. In box number 1, you're going to write
First
the body is taken to a tent called IBU. And I do not know what IBU means. I'm sorry. IBU.
I can't see it.
And here, the reason that they do that is to wash his body with water from the Nile. They wash his body with water from the Nile. Why do you think, and raise your hand and tell me, why do you think it's water from the Nile?
Because the Nile River was their prime.
It was their prime water source, but where do they think when they go to their afterlife journey? Where are they really?
In the resemblance
of the Nile. It's a resemblance of the Nile. So they use water from the Nile. Yes.
Like this, the body is
Yeah, and then on the other side, you're going to write to wash him with water from the Nile.
That we put that on Y.
That's the why. That's why they take him there. Okay. Now, this is where we don't have to do this to our little pharaoh chicken here. They have to put a cut in the left side. So in his left side, they would cut. And they're going to remove all the organs except for his what, everybody?
Heart.
Heart. They leave the heart, but they take out all the other organs. And that's your next step. All the organs except the heart are taken from the body. All of the organs are taken from the body.
Taken from the body.
Taken from the body. And your what? Yes. What? No.
No, but it's kind of
Okay.
fun.
What did I ask you when we started? Alright, now the reason they did that, the why, is because those are the first things to decompose in a body. They want to get those out of the body because they rot first, they decompose first. I'm sorry, where are you at?
At the second part where it said why.
Why? It's because those body parts decompose first. Those parts decompose first.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to write this next part, but I do want to tell you. What they do is they take all those body parts and they put them somewhere and they cover them with natron. And natron is something that dries them out. Like we're going to use salt, they use natron. Yes.
Can I put
Yes, that's fine. So basically they take those body parts out and they put them in a bowl or a box and they cover them with the solution that's going to dry them out. So if they're dried out, they're not going to decompose. They're not going to rot. They'll just look dried up. Like you know when a fruit dries up and it's kind of wrinkled, and that's what it'll look like.
That's what they did back in the day. Before this.
Okay, now let's see. Alright, let me see the next step. The next step, now that's where we start with our pharaoh chicken. They're going to fill the inside with salt. Now let's see. Come on. No, oh. Alright, this one's the one that's already. Don't touch the chicken, just pour it in. So he's all filled up. Poor Pharaoh. And we're filling up. You need to move up to see. I don't mind if you move up. It's fine. All I ask is that when you move up, you sit down and you. Okay. All inside cavity is filled. And then they also, you see he's on a table, they cover that entire table with what they call natron. And again, that's our salt. So let's see.
Wait, Miss,
Yes?
what am I supposed to write?
Nothing right now.
Fire inside.
Okay, let's see if I can pick him up.
Chicken salt. You don't want to move.
More chicken.
So I don't want to touch you with him.
More chicken.
Okay. Now he's in.
And pouring out.
And that's okay. We'll refill back up. Then the next part comes. Come on up. Yep. All right. Now you're gonna start filling the bag because we have to cover him completely. Now while she's covering him, you need to write the body is covered and stuffed with natron.
We write that under how?
Under the next how. The body is covered and stuffed with natron. Oh, nope, we're going to be filling in way more than that. You can do that one, and when that one's done, I'll let somebody else.
We just put the body covered with natron.
The body is covered and stuffed. It's not just covered, he's stuffed with it too. With natron. Yes. Is that number 4, guys, or number 3? Number 3. The body is covered and stuffed with natron. Let me pick one of my boys now. All right. Next. All right. When you've written that, the reason that they do that, why do you think they put the stuff on him, in him, and on him? Why do they do that?
That way it won't decompose.
Well, they're wanting something to happen. What are they wanting to happen, Justin?
I'll take a guess. So they not like inside to not rot.
Oh, they don't want it to rot, but they want something to happen. Ashton, what do they want to happen?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. What do they want to happen?
I know now.
Okay, no. What is it?
To dry him.
To dry him out. They are drying him out. And the reason they are doing that is because what they want is when they wrap him, they don't want to have to worry about any of his organs or his heart or anything else decomposing. So they're drying him out.
Right down to why.
That's a lot of something.
Mm-hmm.
Right down to why.
Under why? And the why is to dry him out. Yes.
A lot of salt.
What we went for why? There's a whole chicken in there.
With salt.
You should cook this.
Please stop. Yes, get it done.
This a lot of salt for chicken.
Okay. Now, let me see. Covering a little more on this side. All right. While he's pouring some more in there on the top. The next step is they take 40 days, and you don't have to write 40 days, but you can put after 40 days he's washed again and covered with oils under how? After 40 days he's washed again and he's covered with oils to help the skin stay elastic. You got it. Good job. Let's see.
What were you after again?
His body is washed again, and then they
You wash him
and then they cover him with oil to help his skin stay elastic.
That's for why to
And the why is to keep his body elastic. Now I'm taking all the air out of this bag because you need to make sure that the salt is there. The salt with our chicken or our hen is going to draw all the moisture out of its body. Okay? So what will happen is we'll be checking this and the salt will start to get really moist. Yes.
It barely looks like there's a chicken.
I know.
Like, you could just give it away and they're like, oh, thanks,
So all the air's out, it's gonna dry it out. We're gonna check it probably early next week. And when we check it, we're gonna notice that the salt is clumpy and wet because that's what it's doing. It's pulling out all of that moisture. And what we'll do then is we'll do what they did. We'll open it up, we'll pour out all the salt, we'll take the chicken and we'll make sure he's not washed, but that he's cleaned off of all that salt. And then we'll start over again. More salt inside, more salt around him, back in the bag. Hopefully, because ours is so small, within a couple weeks, we will actually have a dried out chicken and can do the next steps. But this is where our chicken's at. This is the last step we'll do with our chicken because we can't do anything else until he's all ready to go. But we can see what we have to do next by watching this, okay? So what you're gonna do next is now they do something later that we learned as ancient Egyptians that we're going to do as the ancient Egyptians did. Now they take all those organs that they dried out, so the liver, the kidney, the stomach, the intestines, all those things, they wrap each one in linen. And linen is very, very soft, very, very expensive fabric. They wrap them in linen and they place them in the jars we're going to make. Does anybody remember what those jars were called? Kanapik. They're going to place those in kanapik jars, not in the body. In this, it says they placed it in the body, but we're not going to do that. So what they did, but I'm sure they did this. They took sawdust and they packed it in to the inside cavity. Into the inside cavity. So that's what you need to put. They packed sawdust in inside. That's your next how. Or they packed sawdust. This is our chicken.
Oh, it's in there?
Mhm.
Did you already do something with
Well,
it?
what we can't do the next steps until he dries out, and then we're going to wrap him. So you'll get to come back and see us wrap him and give him his.
So you're basically preserving him right
Yes,
now?
we're preserving him.
I just assumed it's a him.
So we know that the body stuffed and the why is to keep it dried out. They want to keep it dried out. And what's still in there though? What's still in there?
The heart.
The heart. Why's the heart in there, Justin? Can you remember why the heart? Why, Ashton? Why is the heart still in there?
I think to like let them oh my gosh.
It's okay. You're doing fine. It's okay. Anybody else have an idea? What happens to that heart later on his journey?
It helps them become stronger.
Well, he's stronger, but remember when he meets Osiris? What is Osiris going to do with that heart?
Oh,
What are they going to do?
eat it.
No, they're not going to eat it. Ew.
Oh, he's gonna weigh it with a feather. If it's less than a feather, he had a good life. But if
Very
it's
good.
more, he had a bad life.
He is going to weigh the heart on a scale with the feather of truth. And if the heart weighs less than the feather, then the person that's there led a good life. If it's not, then they didn't lead a good life, which is kind of one of those deals where do you go to heaven or do you not? And that's what they're doing. Osiris is weighing his heart. So that stays in his body.
Wait, Miss,
Yes.
is that for 6? No.
No. We're still talking about the sawdust and why the heart's still in there. Okay, now.
I would too. Okay. I'll be back.
All right, the last thing we're going to write, and I want you to write this in the next step. His body is covered with good smelling oils. Okay, and we are going to do that part. We're going to do that part once he's dry, but we're not going to do oil. What we're going to do is we are going to use cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, any of those spices that smell good, we're going to cover him with it. After we put some baby oil on there. That baby oil is going to help those spices to stick on there because, you know, he's probably not going to smell that good, quite honestly. He's probably not going to smell very good. But that leads us to the next step, and that's really to just make him smell better, okay? These are the kanapik jars we talked about because in old Egypt, ancient Egypt, These are what they would have put the different organs in. Later in Egypt, they changed it and put them inside the body. So that's why that is the way it is.
Wait, this.
Yes.
What was the Y for 6? We haven't gotten to that yet.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, okay. Also,
The oils are put on the body, and that's to make it smell good. That's the why.
what's the Y?
So that he smells better.
Also, if it's even, he stays in between window.
Okay, but let's go move on. Yes.
What's the Y? Keep it dry out.
To keep it dried out.
Can you go back?
All right. We'll talk about it in a second. The body has been cleaned, dried, and rubbed with good smelling oils. Now it's time to wrap him. Now, here's the thing with the wrapping that I want us to remember. Our wrapping is going to happen in a couple weeks. Okay, so we're learning about this now, and we're going to do our wrapping in a couple of weeks. I would like all of you to pay attention, not worry about each other, okay? I want to make sure you have this. All right, so I'm going to put Mr. Pharaoh up here. Their Pharaoh's going to have some work, I think. The bag ripped. All right, now,